those of you who saw the last video, the one on the postcards, might remember this from Jacqui Galloway, and it's just so beautiful. It really is worth showing again. It's just lovely. It's just so lovely, and I love it, Jacqui. And I think I made that clear in the comments on YouTube. I really do love that. There was also another something from Janet Nash which you saw as well, but I'm going to concentrate on this today because along with this, what I didn't show you was some photocopies. This is the coloured version. She sent this one, and she also sent a black and white one, and there's a little message on the original one here, and it tells me the story of this embroidery here, and she found it on eBay for £1.20, and it's a real bargain, and it is beautiful, and she describes it, and she's going to use that as a book cover, but it's too nice to cut into, to sew into. She thought I might consider it as an inspiration for one of our projects. So Jacqui, I'm treating this as a challenge. Now, it is very beautiful, and as I said to you on one of our comments, I don't think I can actually do it justice, and I'm really nervous about this, believe it or not. I'm so nervous about doing this one, and I don't know if it's because it's from you, Jacqui. I consider you a great friend now, so I don't know if I don't want to let you down by messing this up. So I'm going to try my best for you, and we'll see what we come up with. Now, as you've used, thought you might consider it as inspiration. Now, you all know by now that we can work from other people's pieces, but we don't copy. Now, there are people on YouTube, and it winds me up a bit, who do copy, and I don't like that. I don't like that at all. They tend to copy and they don't credit. I don't like that. It's okay to be inspired, but not to copy. So I'm not going to copy this, but I'm going to be inspired by it. Now, the first thing I did, I took more photocopies. I did another coloured one here, and then I took several black and white ones. Now, even these are too nice to cut up, so I've not cut those up. But as you can see, I've had a fine old time here cutting up. I'm left with this one because I've cut up two here. And oh, this was just so lovely, such a lovely thing to do. So, I first of all cut these. I've got my notes here. I couldn't make this, I was doing this off screen because we had an electrician in and he was here most of the day and it was holding me up. So I did as much as I could off camera and made some notes. So I'm going to read the notes because I don't want to forget anything that I've done. A pretty little flower there. Right, so these are the bits, my offcuts. Let me move that out of the way, that's distracting. So first thing I did, as I've just explained, I made some photocopies with the intention of using these. Now, colour-wise, I love the colours here. I think I'm just going to be guided by the colours, but I'm not going to follow them blindly. Want to be inspired by this. I love this round shape here. I'm not too keen on this part. So if you remember the words that we work with as artists stroke designers, exaggerate and eliminate. So I'm going to exaggerate these but eliminate this. Okay, now I decided to do that I did play around first by folding this in half. And I did this in black and white because I don't want to be too influenced by the colours. And I played around, and I came up with something like this. Okay, now it's nothing like this, not at all, but it's still inspired by it. So that's looking good already. I like that. So from there, I cut this into a round, the black and white ones, 2 black and white ones, and as I said, you can see the bits here that I didn't want. I'm eliminating these bits here, the bits that's tucked under, because I don't like it. I don't like that at all, but I like this. So I thought, what am I going to do from here? So I thought, I like it round. So I cut out, and it's a dinner plate, around the same size as this. It's actually this one here. I cut that out. And from there I thought, yeah, that's the size I want it. That fits nicely onto this template of the dinner plate there. If you can see that, it's about the same size. And then I thought, not sure about this now. I love this round bit here with the flowers. Not too sure about this. So my next thing to do was to cut out the centre. Now, that is the same size as the circle I've just shown you. So I pop that over there. So now I've kept the flowers. You can see I've kept the flowers underneath. They're quite safe now. But I don't want this. I didn't want that bit there. So I cut that out. Cut that out there. Now this is where I'm going to go over now to the black and white one. Now I've cut this out and I stuck down the flowers. So this is the actual one now. So I stuck down the flowers and I put this back, and I like that. I just like that look round here. Still inspired by this, but you can see the progression of an idea. We're actually moving away from this, but the influence is still there. We're not copying, we don't copy, so we're not copying this, but we're inspired by it and we're motivated by it. So there we go, we've still got the flowers. Now I deliberately did it in black and white because from this stage I don't want to reference these colours too much. I don't want to start thinking in terms of I need to do that one in pink and blue and orange. I don't want to be too influenced now. Right, so I'm tucking that one away. So from there I thought, what can I do in the middle? Now I have all these offcuts here, all the offcuts that I showed you a little while ago. So I started playing with the offcuts, and there we go. This is what I've come up with. I'll show you where these fit in. This bit in the middle, the flower there, are from these. You see these here. You might see it better on this one. Can you see the pink here? That, and that. Okay. Now these here, these like leaves, I imagine, are from here. So you can see the progression of an idea and the inspiration. I'm using all these pieces here, but I've rearranged them. So it is still based on this, but I've exaggerated areas, I've eliminated, and I've been inspired, and I've shuffled around. So from this, we now get this. Okay, so that is as far as I've got with the design. So meanwhile, while I still think about this and stitches and what's going to happen, I started thinking about the flowers first. Now, I didn't want to do the embroidery. I'm going to do this in applique. So at the moment, I'm thinking aloud, it's going to be in applique and stitchery. Might put some of these back because to me this set suggests, and I know you'll like this, Jacqui, raised chain band. Jacqui loves raised chain band. So that, look at that, that is just beautiful for raised chain band. So this is what I'm thinking at the moment, and I really am just thinking aloud. So that's as far as I've got with that. So the electrician was turning on and off the mains and oh, God knows what he was, oh sorry, gosh knows what he was using, but I sat there in the chair and tried to concentrate, but I went through some pieces, tried to cut out the noise, and I found some of these beautiful pink flowers here. I'm going to hold them up. I'll make this a bit bigger now so you can really see what's going on. Now they're not white, they are pink, but they were white, and I dyed them, eco-dyed them in beetroot juice. Now this is where they're from. They were from this sample. This was gifted to me, as everything is I use. See, can you see how white this is? And these flowers were cut from here, and you can see immediately how pink they are. Now the pink here is a nod to the pink here. Okay, now I know I said I'm not going to follow the colours like this, but I think I will be doing it in pink, and I will be nodding to the colours, maybe not orange, but I will make a nod to some of these colours. And I'm going to do the flowers in the pink here. Now it was quite easy to do this. All I did was steep it in beetroot juice for an hour or so, rinsed it off, and it rinsed all the excess juice off. I mean, they were a really deep colour, really beautiful, but obviously by rinsing them I've lost some of that, but it's left them a really lovely pale pink. So now these are what I'm going to do. At the moment I'm going to use these. Now spent some time looking at them thinking, oh, how am I going to use these? What am I going to put in the centre? And I did play around with quite a lot. Where's the, there it is. I did play around with quite a lot of fabrics to put in the centre. So there we are here. Let me square that up there. So now I'm talking about the centre here. Want something nice to go there. And now I'm thinking of this. I'm thinking to put this in the centre. Right, now this really is in the thinking stage. To put this in the centre, I might put something red underneath that to complement the green. And then I'm thinking, right, there we go. So that would go there, something like this. And then the flowers, these flowers would go round the edge. Now bearing in mind I am thinking aloud here, and this is likely to change at any moment, as you know. So this will go round here. I might make that a little bit bigger. I did cut 12 of these. What have I got? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. I've lost 2 along the way. So that's 10. Now from here the green is really pushing the pink up the front, but you can't quite see it on the screen. So I thought, right, I'm going to do that, and then I thought, right, it looks a bit flat, so I'm going to cut some squares of net. Now I think you've all seen this before, these samples of net here. Look at these, how beautiful they are. So all I've done is run the scissors along the end, and I thought I'm going to use whatever fell off. So these bits fell off, and I'm going to cover these flowers in those bits. Now Jacqui, I hope you're approving of this. I don't know how blingy this will be, because Mr. Avalon, that's our lovely cat's husband, looked at the last project and said, ladies and gentlemen artists, guess what he said? He thought that less was more. So I had to say to his dear wife, his better half, I think, no, you must tell him we don't go in for less is more, we go in for more is more. So there you go. That's a flea in your ear, Mr. A. I'm saying that tongue in cheek and I'm laughing, but people will know what I mean, because I think we are in this, anyone who's part of this group will know more is more. There's no such thing as less is more. That's just silly. That is, just doesn't make sense, does it? I think it's an oxymoron, isn't it? I'm not sure. I'll have to look that word up. But anyway, so there we go. Now, as you can see, I put some net down there, and it's giving it an extra dimension. I hope you're getting that on the screen. Right, I have got some more. It looks as if I've left some downstairs in my haste to get upstairs here. After the electrician went, I think I've left some things downstairs. But anyway, this is how it's looking at the moment with the net. Now imagine there's red under here, I think, and then I want those, let's have a look here, and then I need to think about this part here. Now I'm not sure how I'm going to do that, whether I'm going to embroider that beadwork here or put a motif there. I'm really stumped with this piece at the moment. These pieces here, I'm going to use these now. You've seen these before. I've had this piece hanging about for a couple of years now, and I've used it as much as I possibly can, and they remind me of these pieces here, these leaves here. Look, we've got the leaves here. So I think I'm going to use these. Now I don't know whether to use them this way, up this way. Let's have a look. Now would they look, how would they look? Because yeah, originally they were between the flowers here, but we don't have to have them between the flowers because we're not copying. So we're going to put them like this. No, don't like that, don't like that at all. So we're going to try them this way in the round. Oh, already I like this. I didn't try this downstairs. I've only just cut these out, so it's a bit of a revelation to me as well at the moment. So that's, I think, going to go round there. Right, this is just really a rough idea. I assure you it is looking better in front of me than it is on the screen. Make that smaller. I've got to the scruffy stage already. There. No, I'm still bothered about the centre bit. So I think the best thing I can do is get as far as this. Got some more of those little pieces of net here. There's a blue one. There. Oh. A pink one. There. And there's the red. I might put under the net the beautiful lace there, and it might just give that a little bit of a red underneath, and then I think I might cover it with this to give it more dimension. There's an awful lot of thinking and I mights at the moment, but that is as far as I've got. I might make a start, think about stitches. So I think I've got the colour sorted out. We've got the inspiration, we've got the colour, the design, we need the stitches now, and then the texture. So we're still looking to do some of our design principles on this, okay? But I'm going to take this off now and start with this underneath, and then I'll replace it all. But I don't think I explained about the background, did I? This is green velvet. It's from the back of a dress that I bought in a charity shop last week, and it is really beautiful. Look at that. That is really lovely. So wanted to back it, but I didn't want to make it stiff. It needed something but not an iron or an interfacing. So I've actually backed it with a serviette or a napkin there. In fact, you can see the little motif there, stopping it from stretching, and it's holding it in place. Unfortunately, this isn't this is a synthetic velvet, so it isn't fraying. Had it been another sort of velvet that had frayed, I would have put zigzag or an over sewing all the way around the edge. But anyway, I'm going to make a start now. I'm going to put that down first. Obviously I'm going to have to cut that. Now let me see if you can see the red poking through. I mean, if you can't, there's no point in doing that, is there? I'm going to make that bigger. Ah, yes, I think. Let me put that up there. Yes, you can. There you go. Right, so I will make a start now, and it's very exciting. And Jacqui, I hope you're enjoying it. Okay, so from that to what I just shown you, yeah, it's quite a long shot, isn't it? So anyway, I'm going to carry on now, and it'll be quite interesting to see what happens. Now I've just finished tacking this down all the way around. These pieces are loose, but that doesn't matter. As you can see, I have put the net around all the flowers. I've deliberately left some of the flowers without net, like here and here, to add a different dimension, different depth to the colour, and I like that effect. The red is underneath, and I think you might just be able to see it. Everything is in place. Just pop that down there. Now the next thing I need to think about is whether or not to put the net over. So this could be the next stage, just popping the net down. Or do I need to put the centre down first? I don't even know what's going in the centre yet. So if we reference this, I've got the flowers on the outside, I've got the greenery, the leaves around here, and it just leaves the centre. And at this moment I've no idea what I'm going to put in there, if I'm going to put something on top of the net or underneath. So that really is the next stage, to think about what's going to go in there, or under there I should say. I have no idea, so I'm going to go away and I'm going to think about that for a while, and to see whether it does need the net on there. If I just bring that back slightly, right, you can see the difference. Right, I'll do it that way. Right, you can see the difference between without the net, the dark net, and with. And to be honest, I don't think it makes that much difference. It adds something. I might even just put it halfway across, maybe even use 2 nets, 2 layers, a layer and a half, to give it a dark and a light look. So I need to go away and play with this, and hopefully when I get back I'll have solved that problem. I put some blue down over right the way across here, and all I did was to chop, and it really is choppy, a piece of blue net that's gone over there, and I use that as a gauge or a guide, and I've covered up this bit here with blue, but it's overlapped here. I've just put it down more or less like that, offside, so it's not centralized at all. So the blue is only on part of this and not on all of it. So the dark blue is now down. I'm not sure if you can see a difference at the moment. Maybe round, where are we? Maybe round here you can see it, which means if it's over here, it isn't over there, because the small piece of net wouldn't reach that far. So I had a look, and I've just tacked it. I haven't done any actual stitching at the moment except for tacking or basting, and I played about with a few ideas, and I think what I'm going to do I'm not going to stitch these individually, and I'm not going to do them in rings. These are two ideas that I played with, was going to stitch these individually all the way around. Then I thought, no, don't like that idea, too fussy. So then I thought I'll do it in rings, maybe ever decreasing circles, maybe. Then I thought, no, I don't like that idea. So I've gone back to an idea that I used some time ago on a cushion. It might have been during lockdown. I'm sure it was a lockdown project. Not the same as this, but the technique I'm about to do is, so I'm going to use that circular shape, and that's the bit that's from the center, and I'm just going to keep placing this and go around it, stitch around it, and see what I come up with. So I'm going to put that down with just two pins, and then with a nice thread. I want to try and keep to these colours here. I've decided not to use blue or green because they're too overpowering, so I think I'm going to use the paler pinks and a little bit of red to bring out the red that's peeping through the background. So I'm using 3 strands and my favourite sashiko needle. So you use whatever needle that you feel happy using. I'm happy with that needle and 3 strands, and I've put a nice knot in the end. I'm going to come through from the back, and all I'm going to do is a small running stitch all the way around here, right the way around through all the thicknesses. Now you can make your stitch as big or as small as you want. There aren't any rules to this whatsoever. You've got to make the rules up yourself, but it's always best not to have any rules really. We don't need rules at this stage. So all the way around, just follow the line of the circle right the way back to the beginning. Right, so back to the beginning, and I'll just tie that off, and then I'm going to do what I've just done again. I'm going to repeat this all over the design. Okay, so now I'm just going to move that, can't see that at the moment, and I'm going to move it somewhere else. It doesn't have to be totally on here, it could be just a part of it, or it could be over the edge on the green. So I'm going to move it over here, and I'll probably change the colour of the thread as well. It's up to you how you do yours. You might want to do it in one colour. I should change the thread, but I'm not going to do it later, but I'm not going to do it now because I'm going to finish off this piece of thread here. And as I said, I'm going to do this exactly the same as I have done on the first one. So I've gone around these a couple of times now, and I did start in the pink and the purple, but to be honest it isn't noticeable at all. So went round in the red, and that's slightly better, but I think the best colour is yellow. You can clearly see them, and you can see the extra shapes that have been made with the yellow. You can see the shape here, around there, and the shape here, and there's another lovely one there. The red is quite good. You can see the shape it's made here, and other little shapes. But with regards to the dark purple and the pink, I can't even see the pink there. There it is, round there. That doesn't show up at all. I did say I wouldn't use the blue and the green, but I might try this green. It's a beautiful bright green, and I think it isn't the same green as the one I've used here, so I think I might use that and see what happens. Well, as you can see, it looks nothing like it did a little while ago. I think I got a bit carried away. I did introduce another stitch, or stitches I should say. I introduced the blanket stitch around here, around each of the flowers, I've done a blanket stitch in different colours. Well, I've used 3 colours, a blue, a bluey green, a green, and this pink. And I think there's a fourth colour there, a light green. So I've gone round each flower with the blanket stitch, and then I put it on the wall as normal. And I thought, yeah, no, it doesn't look finished yet. So then I've just gone round the whole of the shape. First in a very nice sort of burnt orange colour all the way around here. And then I followed it with some red. And I love the look of the red. And it is a complementary colour, and its opposite is green. So I think the two really go very well together, the green and the red. And then I've come back here and I've filled in the shapes between the flowers. The shapes here that were left, I filled them in, and I've just followed the shape that was there. That is why these don't meet, but I might actually meet them, though they don't meet at all. Unlike this, it meets, and it meets there, and it gives a nice continuity, I think, a nice line. Although this actually does give contrast as well, contrast between a line, a total line if you like, and then a broken line. So I need to spend some time looking at that. Now these, I took off the dress that this fabric came from. It had all these, and there are actually 2 sequins here. If I get a needle, I can maybe price one out. The top one is a heart here. Let's see if you can, yeah, you can see the shape of the heart there. So that's the top one, the heart, with the heart cut out, and it fits over an ordinary plain round sequin. So the sequin in each of the centres of the flowers, and I like that. That gives just a nice little bit of blingy, but not too much. Now I was left, after I did this, with some of these, the slow stitch, running stitch here that I showed you earlier on, and they extended out onto the green background, and they gave this a very uneven look. So I've removed them. I've only removed the stitches that extended over the flowers, and as I said, they weren't even, and it just made this totally lopsided. I've left the centre bits. I haven't touched the stitches in the centre. So that is quite nice, because there are some shapes, some really nice shapes here that have emerged. Not really sure whether that it was necessary to do that. If I'd known at the beginning I was going to do this, then maybe I wouldn't have taken the time and the trouble to do these running stitch shapes. But then that's how we work, isn't it? We don't know which way it's going. So the next thing I'm going to do now, and I'm going to go over some of these, I think in feather stitch or maybe herringbone, but I'm going to start in feather stitch. Could even do this in the raised chain band, but so I should start here and just follow the line down. Right, so this way. So we'll pull that little loop and then over to the left and make that stitch, and then over to the right, bring the needle up over the thread that I'm holding down like that, and I'm just going to see how that pans out. Oh, this is totally addictive. I don't want to stop now, but I will do. Oh, let's have a look there. Let's make it just a bit bigger so you can see what I'm doing there. Right, so that is a very long, it's like a stalk there with the leaves coming off it. And it comes round here, so we should get a circle going round there at some point, but that's as far as that is, and I'm going to carry on with that now. I'm just going to show you as a reminder the inspiration. So, oh Jacqui, I wonder what you're thinking of it. Oops. I wonder what you're thinking of it, Jacqui. So it was from that. Move that over from and it's nothing like it, does it? From that, so we have the flowers, so we got the flowers, and we've even got, do you see the curly bits here, the wavy bits here? We've got those here exaggerated, one of our words, exaggerated around here. What else have we got? Right, we haven't got the centre yet. The centre will be based on these at the moment. Just about to do the leaves here and that long bit, one of these long stems. So from this to that, but going through that. So the process is 1, 2, and 3. So I finished around there, joining up what I'm calling the stalks, which leaves the leaves here free. Now I've gone back to this, to the inspiration, and I've had another look at the leaves, and it looks to me, if I can see these properly, it looks to me that these leaves here are worked in a herringbone stitch. From here it looks very, very much like a herringbone stitch. So as a nod to the original, the piece that Jacqui owns, so as a nod to that and to this picture here, I'm going to do some of the leaves on this in herringbone stitch. Now I've also changed the colour. I'm going to do it in white because I think it needs a bit of a lift. It will need a bit of a lift here. So I'm going to start on a big leaf, a long leaf. Well, actually they're all the same, aren't they? I'm going to start here and see how that pans out, and if that looks okay, I'm going to carry on and do them all the way around. So I'm just going to try this. Now I did work the blanket stitch and the chain and this feather stitch here, same way I'm doing this, in 6 strands. So these are going to be done in 6 strands because this got so thick that it was a bit impossible to see the 3 strands. They got lost in the pile of the fabric. So let's see just how this one works out. I'll hold it, oops, sorry, I'll hold it this way. It's really awkward sitting here. There's a lot going on at the moment on this piece of work. Right, I'm just going to do this. I might close it up. My phone's just alive today. It's my children, thankfully. So there we go. Right, let's have a look at that. Now we have to ignore this bit here because that will be, this bit here will be done in something else. So the bit we're going to look at is there. Now that's one leaf, and I don't think we're going to get a true picture of that until I do the other side here. Now I will do that. I'm going to turn that round and I'll do that leaf here. Let's have a look over here, and that might give us a better idea of what to do. whether to carry this on all the way round or will it just look a mess. Right, where are we on the screen? So, oh, that's difficult to see, isn't it? So we've got one leaf there and we've got the other leaf there, and that was the stem. Yeah, I'm not going to get a really good picture until I've done them all. I just hope I've used the right colour. Yeah, I'll carry on with the white and we'll see what happens. The more I put in, hopefully, the better it's going to look. So, I've finished the leaves and I'm not sure that I like it. I think maybe the white was a bad choice. I'm not sure. And it's so fussy, but you bearing in mind that that bit is to be covered up here. So we're only talking about the outside edge. If I could cover that up, you might get a better idea there. You might get a better idea there. Yeah, it's not so bad with the centre covers up. I quite like the randomness of the stitches. Oh, I'm going to make that a bit bigger. Right, there. Yeah, it looks better actually. I mean, it looks, you might look at it and think, my goodness, it's a mess. But it actually looks better on the screen. So can you imagine what I'm looking at here? But yeah, I like that. We've got some nice leaves going on here, around here. Yeah, it's picked the leaves out nicely, but it doesn't actually suggest leaves, does it? It's almost an abstract centre. But as I said, the actual centre doesn't matter because that will be covered up with something. So that is just the outside, and I quite like that actually, but we'll see what happens. Now the next thing is the outside. Now I've had a few ideas. I've thought of, I've cut some rounds out here. Right, I'm going to make this a bit smaller now. There, right. A bit bigger. Lovely. So I'm thinking of maybe a coloured round here, and I have cut out 3 colours that I've used here: green, red and pink, and that is a beautiful pink. So I'm thinking of using one of these with maybe a little piece of shisha. No, I don't like that immediately. Don't like that. Now this is one of 3. I've got 2 of them here, and there's another one over there somewhere. This was all. These were also on this dress. This dress hit that when this was a dress. These were also on there, and I'm thinking of maybe using something like that with just a little peep of colour. Oh, I like the red. Yeah, Kath, once again, more is more, isn't it? Yeah! Can't have enough more, can we? I like the red. Let's have a look at the pink. Oh, I like the pink. Let's have a look at the green. Oh, hallelujah, we can get rid of at least one. So that leaves the pink or the red. Oops. Yeah, I think I'm favouring the red actually. But I also found the missing flowers here, and I've cut them in half because I only had 2. So I've cut these in half. And I'm wondering as well if I place these in some sort of round like this, just so the tips of the petals are peeping out, and then I pop that down. So then we've got the shapes here that are going on. in the flowers, or on the flowers. But it's a bit insipid, isn't it, that colour? It's blending too much into the background. Now what would happen if can you see that? I'm going to make that bigger. I don't think that adds anything at all. Perhaps if I made them bigger, pulled them out just a bit more. No, it doesn't really add anything, does it? So I'm going to take that away and go back to this one. Oh goodness, this is so difficult. I like that one. Yeah, I think I'm going to stick to this one. So I will sew that in place, and hopefully that will be finished. Hopefully. Who knows, I might decide to put a row of chain around there. So anyway, we are on the home straight now. We're nearly there, and we'll just see how it looks in a couple of minutes time. So I decided to use the red as the big red piece underneath, and I placed over the top a slightly smaller, not much, but a slightly smaller pink one, and I've blanket stitched them together all the way around there, and that is looking really nice. I'm very pleased with that. Now what I've decided to do as well is to put one of these now in the centre like that, and so over sew it down with very, very tiny stitches. But before I do that, I just want to show you what that is made up of. Somebody has made this for the dress, and all it is a piece of mirror like that attached to a background piece of fabric. So the stitches here will go into the background. Now we have done this before, the shisha, and then this is a plait, a woolen plait that they've made, and they've made it into a round, and put that down, sewn that into place, and then just added I can't find the bit I've taken off, and then just added a piece of braid all the way around there, and that's all whoever's done this has done to make these, and they're very pretty, and it must have taken just a couple of minutes to make these. So I'm going to use one. I'm going to use this one. This has more shape than the other two. I'm going to place it in the centre of here and try and get an equal amount of pink all the way around the edge. Now I'm going to make that bigger, but I want to see if I can get an equal amount of pink peeping through under the red. So I'm going to stick a pin in there, very short a pin, so it's going to have to be a needle. I'm going to put the needle in there like so. That'll hold that in place, and then I've changed needles to a shorter needle with a nice fine point, sharp point, and I'm using it double, and this is ordinary. I showed you this, I don't know if it was this project or the last one, that nice thread. So I'm going to just little stab stitches. I was going to do over sew stitches, but I've decided against that, and I'm just going to do little stab stitches or very small running stitches all the way around the edge till I come back to the start, and if it's secure then I'm going to call it finished. I don't need that pin in there actually. I can hold it with my, or that needle I mean, I can hold that in place. It's small enough to hold in place. After I finish this, I need to then have a think about what to do with it. Nearly finished. That's it. Back to the beginning. I'm just going to go around a few more stitches just to secure it. And let's see how tight that is. Yes, that's wonderful. Finish it off at the back with a little knot, and there we are. That is finished. Right, now I need some time just to have a look at that and make sure it is finished and that there's nothing else I can add to it. Right, yeah, I'm quite pleased with that now. At this stage, it's the dodgy stage. Do I add some more, or shall I call it finished? Is there anything else I can add? So I'm going to put this on wool once again, and I have a look and see what I can do with it. If I do anything, I might just leave it like this and just make a comparison. I hope Jacqui likes it. I might make it up into something. I'll have a little bit of a think, and if not, I shall leave it like this. But obviously, after I've had my dinner now, I'll get back and I'll let you know what I've decided. So I've decided to finish it here. I've turned over the edges underneath. I mounted it on felt, and I've put these, I've loosely glued this only with the paper, the glue, just to keep the edges of the felt from fraying while I store it. Had to join two pieces of felt here, and as you can see, I've just done a big over sewing stitch, and it's a nice firm felt. So that is the back, and this is the completed front. I turned the edges over, and you saw them neatened on the back, and I've done a long stitch along the edge on the front. I'm just going to make this a bit bigger. You can see them, the long stitches around here. I don't know if you're picking them up here on the screen, but all the way around the four edges here, I've done a long stitch, and really it's so that I can store this and bring it out another time and maybe add it to something else. So I know the edges are nicely secure and they're ready for me to work on if I need to work on them again. But I might frame this because it's easy, they're easy to store. I've just put it on the background here so you can get a rough idea of how it might look if I carry on and maybe put a border on it, which actually could look quite nice. So anyway, I'm not doing any more to that now. All done, all dusted. So Jacqui, thank you very much for the inspiration. I've really enjoyed it, and I must admit I was anxious at the beginning, thinking, oh, you know, I want to make this nice for you. But just another little look. So from that, folded over, two of them folded over like that. So from that to that, to that, to that. So a total progression there of an idea. So thank you very much for that. I hope you enjoyed it. I'm in the middle of collecting names and addresses, and I know there's some more to come for our postcard exchange, and I'm really looking forward to that. So I'll be getting back to you, those of you who are involved, I'll be getting back to you about that hopefully this week. Meanwhile, have a lovely weekend. It's actually the weekend here. It's Saturday morning, so wishing you a really peaceful, happy and calm weekend. So good luck everybody, and best wishes, and I'll speak to you soon on Facebook.